Imagine ruling one of the largest empires in history, surrounded by voices judging your every move, some praising, others criticizing. Most people would crumble under such scrutiny. But Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, not only accepted criticism, but embraced it as a tool for growth. What if you could do the same in your own life? Before we dive into how Marcus Aurelius mastered the art of accepting criticism without anger, don't forget to like and subscribe to support our journey into the wisdom of Stoicism. Watch till the end to unlock transformative lessons that can change how you approach criticism forever. Number 1. The Stoic perspective on criticism. Criticism, according to Stoicism, is not inherently good or bad. It simply is. Marcus Aurelius believed that the key to handling criticism lies in how we perceive it. In Meditations, he wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change." This mindset highlights a deep commitment to truth over ego. Imagine you're at work and a colleague points out a mistake in your report. The natural reaction is defensiveness, but Marcus teaches us to pause and reflect. Is the criticism valid? Does it highlight something we can improve? By seeing criticism as information, we strip it of its emotional charge. The Stoic approach urges us to separate the message from the messenger. Marcus believed that criticism often reveals more about the critic than the criticized. If delivered harshly, it reflects the critic's emotions, not necessarily the validity of their point. Marcus also emphasized self-awareness. He believed that a wise person welcomes feedback because they understand that no one is perfect. Accepting this truth makes it easier to approach criticism without anger. The next time someone critiques you, ask yourself, is this a chance to grow? If yes, the Stoic path is to embrace it with humility and gratitude. Number 2, detaching ego from criticism. Ego is often the main obstacle to accepting criticism calmly. Marcus Aurelius taught that anger stems from wounded pride. When we let go of our ego, criticism loses its sting. Picture yourself receiving harsh feedback on a creative project. Your ego whispers, they don't understand your vision. But Marcus would remind you that clinging to pride blinds you to potential growth. Instead, he advises, don't be overheard complaining. Not even to yourself. Complaining fuels anger, while reflection fosters understanding. Marcus practiced humility daily, reminding himself that he was just a small part of a vast universe. This perspective can help us see criticism as an opportunity rather than a personal attack. For example, consider the case of Thomas Edison. When his light bulb prototypes failed repeatedly, critics mocked his persistence. Yet he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Like Marcus, Edison detached his ego from failure and used criticism as fuel for success. Ego thrives on validation, but growth thrives on truth. When we prioritize truth over pride, we transform criticism into a stepping stone for personal development. Number 3, understanding the source of criticism. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the nature of the people around him. In Meditations, he wrote, "You can also commit injustice by doing nothing." This insight extends to understanding the intentions of those who criticize us. Not all criticism is constructive. Marcus believed in evaluating the source. Is the critic knowledgeable? Are they driven by malice or genuine concern? Separating constructive feedback from unhelpful negativity is essential for growth. For instance, imagine a friend advising you to focus on your health versus a stranger mocking your appearance. The former comes from care, while the latter likely stems from their insecurities. Marcus would encourage you to respond to the friend with gratitude and dismiss the stranger's words as noise. Understanding the critic's perspective can also build empathy. Perhaps they are projecting their struggles onto you. By seeing their humanity, you disarm anger and respond with composure. This practice aligns with Marcus's broader Stoic philosophy. Control what is within your power and let go of what is not. Their intentions are beyond your control, your reaction is not. Number 4, turning criticism into self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius saw criticism as a mirror reflecting areas for improvement. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Criticism, when valid, offers a roadmap to becoming that better person. Consider Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Early in his career, critics doubted his ability to lead a team to victory. Instead of lashing out, Jordan used their words as motivation, training harder and proving them wrong. Marcus believed that criticism highlights blind spots. Instead of avoiding them, he urged us to confront and correct them. If a colleague points out a lack of organization in your work, for example, you could see it as an attack or as a cue to develop better systems. To turn criticism into self-improvement, ask 3 questions. Is it true? How can I fix it? What can I learn from it? This approach transforms feedback into actionable steps rather than emotional wounds. When you embrace criticism as a tool for growth, you embody the Stoic principle of prohairesis, choosing your response wisely in alignment with virtue. Number 5, practicing gratitude for critics. Marcus Aurelius taught that we should thank those who critique us, even when it feels uncomfortable. This radical approach disarms negativity and turns critics into unwitting allies. In Meditations, he reflected, "It is in keeping with nature for the mind to practice self-restraint, to remain unswayed by pain or pleasure, and to accept criticism." Gratitude shifts your focus from feeling attacked to feeling empowered. Think of athletes who thank their toughest competitors for pushing them to improve. Serena Williams, for instance, has often expressed gratitude to rivals who challenge her limits. This mindset mirrors Marcus's philosophy. Critics can be your greatest teachers. Gratitude also fosters emotional resilience. When you thank a critic, you take control of the narrative. Instead of letting their words hurt you, you use them to strengthen your character. Start by mentally thanking someone who criticized you today. Then, reflect on what you learned from their feedback. This small practice can transform your relationship with criticism. By embracing gratitude, you align with Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, turning even harsh words into stepping stones toward personal growth. Number 6, responding to criticism with reason, not emotion. One of Marcus Aurelius's greatest strengths was his ability to pause and respond with reason rather than reacting emotionally to criticism. He advised, "Don't return to philosophy as a taskmaster, but as patients seek out relief in a treatment for sore eyes or a dressing for a burn." His words suggest that philosophy, like reason, is a soothing balm for emotional wounds like anger or defensiveness. Imagine someone accuses you of being careless in your work. Instead of firing back or shutting down, take a moment to reflect. Is there any truth in this? Marcus Aurelius teaches us that emotions, especially anger, cloud judgment. By stepping back, you can evaluate the criticism logically rather than emotionally. A historical example of this approach can be found in Abraham Lincoln, who was often criticized for his decisions during the Civil War. Instead of reacting emotionally, he would write angry letters but never send them. This practice allowed him to process his feelings while maintaining a calm, reasoned demeanor publicly. Marcus believed that our first instinct when criticized is often driven by ego, not truth. If we master the pause and engage our rational mind, we can turn even the harshest critique into an opportunity for clarity and wisdom. The next time you're criticized, take a deep breath and ask yourself, how would Marcus Aurelius approach this moment? Use reason to guide your response, not emotion. Number 7, criticism as a reminder of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fleeting nature of life, using this perspective to minimize the sting of criticism. He wrote, "Soon you will have forgotten the world, and soon the world will have forgotten you." This reminder of impermanence helps us put criticism into context. It's temporary, like everything else. Think of a time you were deeply upset by criticism that, looking back now, seems trivial. Perhaps a harsh comment from a teacher or a negative review at work haunted you for days. Marcus would encourage you to ask, does this truly matter in the grand scheme of things? Chances are it doesn't. A modern example of embracing impermanence can be seen in social media influencers. They face constant criticism from thousands of people online, but often choose to focus on their long-term goals instead of dwelling on individual comments. This Stoic principle also applies to how we perceive the critics themselves. They too are transient, as are their opinions. Marcus believed that focusing on what's eternal, your character and virtue, matters far more than momentary slights. By remembering the impermanence of both criticism and life itself, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Criticism loses its power when you see it as just another passing moment in time. Number 8, the power of self-criticism. Marcus Aurelius believed that the most powerful form of criticism is self-criticism. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By consistently evaluating his own actions, Marcus minimized the impact of external criticism. Consider how self-reflection can serve as a shield. If you've already identified your flaws and are working on them, external criticism becomes redundant. It can't hurt you because you've already faced it within yourself. Think about the example of Elon Musk, who is known for his relentless self-assessment. Musk often says he seeks out critical feedback because he values improvement over comfort. This mirrors Marcus's belief that self-criticism is a tool for personal evolution, not self-punishment. Marcus would suggest a simple practice. At the end of each day, reflect on your actions. Ask yourself, where did I falter? What can I do better tomorrow? This habit not only strengthens your character, but also makes external criticism easier to accept. It becomes a confirmation of the growth you're already pursuing. By embracing self-criticism, you become your own toughest yet most constructive critic. This internal dialogue allows you to approach external feedback with confidence and composure. Number 9, accepting criticism as a form of virtue. For Marcus Aurelius, accepting criticism was not just a skill, but a virtue. He saw it as an exercise in humility, patience, and justice, qualities central to Stoic philosophy. He wrote, "It is not right to vex ourselves at things, for they care not about it." Criticism, then, is an opportunity to practice these virtues. Imagine someone criticizes your ability to lead a team. Instead of reacting defensively, you choose to listen calmly. By doing so, you practice humility, acknowledging that you're not perfect. Patience comes into play as you allow the critic to speak without interruption, and justice involves evaluating their words fairly, even if they sting. A powerful example of this virtue can be seen in Mahatma Gandhi, who faced relentless criticism throughout his life. Despite this, he maintained his principles of nonviolence and fairness, even toward those who opposed him. Gandhi's ability to turn criticism into a practice of virtue echoes Marcus's teachings. Accepting criticism virtuously doesn't mean agreeing with everything said about you. It means responding with dignity, grace, and a commitment to improvement. By doing so, you not only grow as a person, but also inspire respect from others. When you see criticism as a chance to cultivate virtue, it becomes less of a burden and more of a gift. Number 10, using criticism to strengthen relationships. Marcus Aurelius believed that criticism, when handled wisely, could deepen our relationships with others. He wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This mindset encourages us to see criticism not as an attack, but as an opportunity to build mutual understanding. Imagine a close friend points out that you've been neglecting your responsibilities. At first, it feels hurtful, but upon reflection, you realize they're coming from a place of care. By responding with gratitude rather than anger, you strengthen the bond between you. A modern example can be found in healthy professional relationships. Teams that encourage open, constructive criticism tend to thrive because they foster trust and mutual respect. Leaders who welcome feedback create environments where everyone feels heard and valued. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that criticism often comes from those who care about us most. By responding with empathy and understanding, we not only improve ourselves, but also show our critics that their input is valued. Use criticism as a tool to connect rather than divide. When handled with patience and humility, it can transform relationships, fostering trust and deeper connections. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom shows us that criticism is not a threat, but a teacher. By embracing it without anger, we cultivate virtue, strengthen relationships, and grow into the best versions of ourselves. If these teachings resonate with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help our journey of Stoic discovery. See you in the next video.